Names like Uber, Coinbase, and several others are continuing to move higher today. My next guest owns all three of them. Joins us now to discuss. Let's bring in Eric Jackson, EMJ Capital founder and president. Good to see you again. So,
you too.
I don't want to start there on these stocks that have been rallying. And we've talked about how the ARK Innovation Fund, for example, has just coming off its best month ever. I see a headline here that you sold out of Meta completely. So that's where I want to begin on a day where we're trying to figure out if this, Zuckerberg selling any shares means anything. It's always speculation when you see that. Why'd you sell out of Meta completely, though?
Still like it a lot, Scott. It's one of my favorites amongst the Mag 7, but it goes back to something we talked about a couple of weeks ago, which is that I felt that the U.S. CPI data that came out a couple of weeks ago was a seminal moment for the stock market. It's going to have reverberations for the coming weeks and perhaps months. It was the sign that the Fed is really on the sidelines, and now it's just basically time to wait for the cuts. And that signals the end of a 2.5-year bear market for the Russell relative to the NASDAQ and the NASDAQ 100. And I believe that we were going to see a broadening out of the rally, and that's exactly what we've seen over the last 3 weeks. I just want to put my capital to best use now. And even though I love Meta still, and I'm sure I'll be back into it at some point, I wanted to put that money to work in some of the other mid-cap and smaller tech names.
Why do you believe, though, that those kinds of stocks have more staying power? If I use ARK Innovation as an example, the pop over the month was so tremendous, obviously correlated to the tremendous drop that we saw in yields as well. But maybe we've seen the best of that for a while.
Or I would argue, Scott, that ARK has been in a 2.5-year bear market. Basically, they peaked out in February of 2021. And at that point, when they started to dip and go down, that was really the first inklings that rates were going to go up significantly. Now I think we're sort of at the other end, the other side of the coin, where the anticipation is how much are rates going to drop over the next year or two. So we don't know if this is going to be a 5-day rally, 5-week rally, or a 5-month rally. I think I want to be positioned for these smaller mid-cap names like Uber, like Spotify, to continue to do well, because there's so much ground to make up in terms of how far they've pulled back over the last 2.5 years.
So your three top names, you tell us, Coinbase, that's number one. Let's start there. Given what Bitcoin is doing right now, and now the predictions again, the predictors are coming out of the woodwork suggesting how much higher it can actually climb over the next 12 months. Tell me about that stock.
Well, so far in 2023, Coinbase has far exceeded the returns for NVIDIA. I'm not sure how many people realize that. Obviously, they've been on a tear just in the last 3-4 weeks, too, as Bitcoin has really jumped from the mid-20,000s to 42. But I think, there's still a lot more room to run in a Coinbase. Some people looked at Coinbase as, in the FTX collapsed and everything that, it's crypto is a scam, and why would you want to be exposed to that name? They're best of breed within crypto. They've hoovered up market share over these last few years as FTX has gone out of business. Binance has gotten, had to deal with the SEC. They've lost share to Coinbase. Other smaller exchanges have gone out of business. And the other big thing is that people forget, basically Coinbase was a massively profitable company even before 2021 when their EBITDA margins were 58%. And I think we're seeing something interesting in the crypto market that's sort of parallel to the broader tech market, which is that up till now, Bitcoin's had a great year. But it's kind of like the way that the Mag 7 has had a great year, and we haven't seen that extend to some of the smaller altcoins. In the last 3-4 weeks, those coins have massively rallied, some up 50 to 75%. And when that happens, the ARPU for Coinbase goes up massively. So if we get a little bit of increase in retail participation trading these coins at Coinbase, they will be massively profitable again.